Hey guys, how are you? This is going to be another great video. I'm going to answer a question I get on my apps pretty frequently. Actually, I haven't gotten it recently, but I have been getting it all the time in the past. And that is people who are just trying to kind of like not have a gigantic business, but just kind of make a living. And they often want to make a living by being sort of like a personal assistant, or sometimes they call it a personal concierge, or sometimes whatever, that kind of a thing, right? So you just do things for people like a personal shopper almost. It's sort of similar. And so I'll explain how to have that business, right? So it's a small business. The most important thing is to get the clients, right? And it's a local service business. So if you've watched my videos, you know that I have a very set formula for how to market local service businesses. In this case, there is another wrinkle to it. You can market your businesses through existing sites like TaskRabbit and very similar sites, right? And all those, there's also something called work market where you can actually be a sort of doing tasks but for companies instead of people. So like whereas TaskRabbit is for TaskRabbit.com for like people to hire you as a personal concierge, something like work market is actually for companies to hire you for doing a particular job. But it's sort of the same. It's like that's just for people hiring you, and this is for companies hiring you, but you'll be doing very similar jobs most of the time. So then, of course, you want to have your own website in case people search for Google. In case people search Google. You want to also get people who already hire you to recommend you to their friends, and part of that is providing a great service. Because whenever you provide a great service, people start recommending, especially something like that, because usually people who are hiring you, they have money, right? They don't want to do stuff themselves, so they have money. They're either middle class or upper class, and their friends are usually middle class or upper class. So, and those friends also sometimes, need to hire personal concierges or people, who help them. So, if you get the recommendations from your clients, that's great. So you've gotta really provide a great service, and actually ask. Sometimes people just don't ask. But if you already have good rapport, in this case, you can ask whether your clients know, especially if you made them happy, if you did something really well, and they're like, "Wow, that's amazing!" Wow, right? That's exactly the spot where you have to ask them. By the way, like, figure out how to get that into the conversation. Do you know anyone else who needs concierge services? If you think that this is so helpful, if you ask them if you think I'm really that helpful, do you know anyone else, right? And that's the point. That's actually the point where they are most likely to recommend you, when you wow them, right? So you gotta really, right there, right? You did something great for them. They're like, wow. And then you put that into the conversation, like, do you know anyone else? Like, if you really think it's that helpful, do you know anyone else who's looking for a concierge service or personal assistant, something like that? That's the moment where you have the highest chance to get that referral. So take advantage of that. And so you want to have your site. You want to be on sites like TaskRabbit. You want to get referrals. And you also want to be on other local service sites like Yelp, and those are standard. They're the biggest sites for local services. You certainly want to be there. It's free. And of course, you can try paid marketing. I mean, I don't know if in this case paid marketing will be that effective, but you can certainly experiment a little bit with stuff like Google's SEM and see if in your local area, if that bid that they will give you is cheap enough. Because if it's cheap, maybe you can get clients. I mean, if you live in a place like New York, it's going to be extremely expensive. But if you live in a smaller area where it's not that expensive, or then that may work. So depending on where you are, depending on your local geography, it may be cheap to do paid marketing, but it may be effective. So that's something that's like per case consideration. So that's it. That's actually how, that's what I'd recommend for that kind of a business. It's all about marketing your business and getting the clients. If you get the clients, you can begin making money from day one. But if you don't get the clients, then you're just sitting at home and waiting for the phone, right? So that's it. Thanks for watching. I hope that was helpful. And just like you should ask for stuff when you are helpful to your potential clients, If this was helpful, if this video was helpful, if you had a wow, if you learned something, then check out my mobile apps, because they cover business ideas, business planning, marketing, and fundraising. If you're looking to have your own little business, they might very well help you. They have a ton of ideas of how to help you on the apps. The apps have a ton of ideas how to help you market your business and get clients. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe to my channel, and